Good morning, students. I'm Ms. Mulungu, your tutor for English Module 1 for BESP. Welcome to the contact classes based on the examinations. The overview of the presentation. Today we'll look at the aims of the examination-based contact classes, general instructions, common errors done by students during examinations, units and areas to focus on, as well as the conclusion. The aims of this exam-based contact class is to assist students by providing the examination scope that will entail what you should expect during or in the upcoming exam. The second point will be to increase your understanding on the content of the module, which is English for the first semester. And then to gain understanding of the different ways of questioning, because sometimes we fail to understand what we are expected to write or how we are expected to answer in the examinations. And then the last point will be to revise the aspects of writing examinations. General instructions. The first thing that you do when you come in an exam is to read the instructions on a question paper. So you should ensure that you have read and understood all the instructions on the question papers. Second, you must always answer all the questions. All the questions. Read and understand the questions before attempting to answer. If you answer a question that you do not understand, you are bound to fail. And then the next point will be consider the allocations of marks. This will guide you on how much you are expected to write. Sometimes you are asked a question of 20 marks, perhaps asking you to discuss an issue. 20 marks, and you write very little without considering that this question requires a lot because of 20 marks. So whenever you are answering a question, look at the marks allocated to it. Common errors done during examinations. These ones come in mostly because of failure to understand what the level of thinking is required with the verbs in questions. Let me say, for example, a question asks you to discuss an issue, and you failed to discuss. Say, for example, instead of discussing, you listed. That will mean the marks will be less, or you'll really just not get any marks because you do not understand the question. If a question asks you to discuss, you are expected to give a clear description. You point out the future, you argue about the future, point out the positive and negative features, and then come to a conclusion. If you are asked to describe, these are just examples. If you are asked to describe, for example, you give characteristics of a situation, for example, of an approach or a perspective. And when you are asked to outline, we have these things already in the module, but you are really required to understand. If you are asked to outline, you are expected to mention or list. And when you are asked to explain, you give details, you give reasons. And then you can also illustrate with examples. These verbs are there in your modules, at the beginning of the modules, and you can go through them. Make sure you understand, make sure you know what to expect.